Hello and welcome back to Supposedly Fun. My name is Greg and I am here today to do my Friday Reads video in which I wrap up the weekend reading, talk about any bookish things that have gone on or that are coming up. Given the news that has come out of this week, probably not surprising, I'm wearing my Don't Tread on Me shirt with the little uterus snake. You can see I'm hanging out with my buddy Jamie. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I will say the news has been stressful this week for obvious reasons. And there's a lot to say about it. I don't think I'll say it all here because it's been stressful enough and you know what it is. So we will leave it at the t-shirt for now. It will speak for itself. The most exciting thing going on in the bookish world right now, at least to me, is that the Pulitzer Prizes will be announced on Monday, May 9th. And I am, of course, really looking forward to finding out what will win in the fiction category. There are a couple of other book categories, but most of them relate to journalism. In anticipation of this announcement, I did a sort of surprise Pulitzer Prize deep dive. I'll put a link to it down below if you haven't checked it out already, in which I talked about what happened at the Pulitzer Prizes 10 years ago when there were 3 finalists for the fiction category, but there was no winner. That video was kind of inspired by a comment from Kieran Reader. And I spun it into a bigger project than what I had originally intended. It was supposed to be just a fun little flashback video. And then I thought, well, I'm going to have to do a Pulitzer Prize deep dive video about that year anyway. And I've already read some of the books in question, or I'm really familiar with them because it was not that long ago. So I turned it into a whole Pulitzer Prize deep dive about the potential winners for that year and what happened that led there to not be a winner. So check that out if you would like. I got some really nice... I love getting people excited about the Pulitzer Prize. It feels like a lot of people have a sort of built-in excitement for other literary prizes like the Booker Prize, the Women's Prize, probably most significantly those. And I am happy to be but a participant in those. I don't really want to lead the conversation or take away from anybody else. Let all the other channels fight it out over who gets to be the main source of Booker information. I am very happy to be your guy for the Pulitzer Prizes. That is my wheelhouse and I'm totally fine with it. And I'm really glad a lot of people said that they are going to be seeking out a copy of Denis Johnson's Train Dreams, which I talked about at length in that video. I'm actually thinking I might reread this. It's really small. You could dunk it in your coffee. It's my standard phrase for this. It's 116 pages. So I had originally reshelved it after I finished filming that video, and now I pulled it back out because if there's time this weekend, I think I might want to go through it again. And we'll see how that goes because, the best laid plans. It's going to be a bit of a busy weekend. We are going to have to clean the house tomorrow, and then we have company coming on Sunday because we just kind of impromptu Mother's Day thing with my in-laws. So that will be fun, but it means it will be a busy weekend. So I don't know how much time we will actually have to sit down and read. We'll see how that goes. I think I'm going to try to make this a short Friday Reads video this week, but I also want to recommend a channel. I usually try to wait until a channel has been around for a little bit and just to make sure that they're going to really stick with it. But I want to recommend this one because they are very new and I've just enjoyed the first 3 or 4 videos that they have posted on their channel. The channel is called Read and Reread, and I will put a link to them in the description box down below. I've really enjoyed the videos that they have done so far. As I said, particularly they did their 10 best books of 2022 so far. And a lot of them were aligned with my reading interests. And if they're aligned with my reading interests and you're watching this, hopefully it would be relevant for you. So why not check out that channel, give them a subscribe if you enjoy it or feel like it, because I've enjoyed their content so far and hopefully you would as well. Thank you for your responses about the Great American Novel. I am starting to compile my video about what the Great American Novel is and what it means. If you have other thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, but I'm starting to put that together. Hopefully it will be coming soon. Next week is going to be busy for videos because the Pulitzer Prize reaction will be coming, of course. I don't know if I will get it done on Monday. It might have to come on Tuesday, but we'll see. I'll try to get it up as quickly as I can, and then we'll see how the rest of the week goes. I'm anticipating that it's going to be a bit of a busy week, so we'll see how the rest of my schedule goes for producing videos. I'm hoping to have it out next week, but don't hold me to it. The big bookish news from last week is that Independent Bookstore Day was on Saturday. That was so much fun, and I loved seeing what everybody did to celebrate and where they went and what they bought, of course, on social media, and my book haul will be coming later this month. But I did make it to Helena. We went to Montana Book Company. We had lunch with my in-laws after. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. I have such a good time going to that store. We were lucky that we got there early, so we got there before they really got busy, so we actually got to catch up a little bit, and that was fun. And I actually remembered this time to get a little bit of footage in the store, because everybody always asks, and then I get to the store and I'm so busy talking and shopping and browsing that I don't do it. So I'm gonna roll the Independent Bookstore Day footage from Montana Book Company right now. It's not whole detail, but maybe will give you a little bit of an idea of the store itself.
Feel good that you extraordinary to offer to any more
And there you go. Another fun thing about Independent Bookstore Day, and because we got there early, is that usually I spend so much time in the front of the store talking and browsing through that area that by the time I get further back into the store where the fiction section is, we're running out of time. So I don't get to spend a lot of tender love and care browsing through the fiction section, and I actually did this time. And it's just made me appreciate all over again how well curated the store is. They really do a great job. So that was my Independent Bookstore Day. I actually even won a pen pack, which is kind of fun because they were going to be asking a trivia question every hour. And the question that they asked while we were in the store had to do with the Pulitzer Prizes, and that's my thing. So I won a pen pack, and that was really fun. And I can't wait to share all the things that I purchased when I do a book haul later in the month. And let's start getting into the actual Friday Reads portion of this video. I only finished one book this past week, and it's one that I had started talking about last week because I had begun it on audio. It's Leaving Isn't the Hardest Thing by Hough. This was a really interesting journey. It is sort of a memoir in essays. I'm using it for that prompt on the Montana Book Company Reading Challenge for 2022. And the reason I say it's kind of interesting is that because, well, there is a social media controversy past with Hough, but also because the memoir deals with a lot of really serious issues. Hough is someone who grew up in a cult, has dealt with abuse, sexual assault, and poverty. So there are a lot of potential trigger warnings for this book, and you should be aware of that if you're thinking about reading it. And what's interesting is a lot of the time when you read a memoir that deals with things like that, it tries to write from a very clear-headed or optimistic space, and Hough still feels angry. Anger sort of emanates through the audio, and it feels palpable. And because of that, it feels a little difficult to read, especially in a stressful week like this past one. But that anger also, in a way, feels sort of clarifying. And I had this weird push and pull dynamic with it, where at times it felt appropriate and felt like I was really into it, but other times, because I was feeling a little stressed, I felt like I couldn't really engage with it. There were at least 2 nights this past week when I had to say, I'm really not in the mood right now at all. So I didn't get to it that day. Overall, I'd say I enjoyed it. She talks about a lot of really difficult topics, including Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the military. And the title essay is about the experience of going on with your life after you have left a cult. And of course, the title would let you know that leaving is not the hardest thing. The idea of how you go about your life afterwards when you have been so damaged or so much of you has been shaped by that cult and you don't know how to live your life without it, but also you don't know how to talk about it or get help because people will judge you based on that experience. It's a really interesting story. I had mentioned that Cate Blanchett read the audio. I didn't realize this, but she does not read the entire audio. Some of the chapters or essays are read by Hough herself. Obviously, I kind of preferred the stories or the parts of it that were read by Cate Blanchett. I think she is fantastic. Her voice work is really incredible. And I wonder if part of that push-pull that I was having, because I think the segments I struggled with the most were the ones that were narrated by Lauren Hough. I think having an actor like Cate Blanchett somehow made it a little easier to get through. And I don't quite know if that makes sense, but I'm going to go with it and say that that's the way it is. But nevertheless, I did finish this book actually just this morning, and it is a good one. I'd recommend it, but again, you really got to be aware of all of the potential triggers for it. And I'd say definitely be aware of the social media controversy that happened with Lauren Hough last year. It may be something you in particular don't want to support in an author. Basically, she went on a rant on Twitter about, I can't remember if it was a 4 or 4.5 star review on Goodreads, which seems like a really wild thing. It's a totally unforced error on the author's part. Probably should have let it go. Once it became a thing, she didn't let it go, and it became a whole thing. And it's a little unpleasant. I have heard some people speculate that people wouldn't have been so angry if she were a man. I can't say either way, but obviously I was willing to read the book and I enjoyed it. And it's actually interesting because having read the book, it feels so believable as something that she would do. Like that anger would come out and that she really wouldn't be able to let it go. So with all of that context, I'd say this might be a book for you, but it might also not be a book for you, and only you can make that call. I had been hoping that I was going to make a lot of progress on Before Night Falls by Reinaldo, translated by Dolores, Koch, this week, and that ended up not happening. I did make a little bit of progress on Sunday, I think, but not so much after that, because once the work week got started, work was really busy this week for me, and then the news cycle was kind of stressing me out, and I just got really tired by the end of the day. You know, when you are feeling like you're a little bit stressed about something during the day, and then you get to the end of the day and you're just tired. So I actually went to sleep without doing a whole lot of scrolling on my phone or reading before bed. And that meant that I really didn't make as much progress in this as I wanted to. I was hoping to be done with it by the time The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fernand-Jeffers comes out in paperback, which is going to be on Tuesday. And I have a little bit of time because even after Tuesday, I pre-ordered it from Montana Book Company, so they're going to have to ship it to me, so I probably won't get it until the end of next week anyway. So I have a little bit of more time to spend with this, so I'll be ready to pick that back up. But I am enjoying this book. I'm just working my way through it slowly. And I am going to try to put a push on it. But again, it's going to be a busy weekend, so I don't know if I'll make a whole lot of progress, but hopefully I won't be so worn out in the evening, and that will allow me to make some progress. I should mention, by the way, my doctor had me start a new medication for my headaches, the ones that had been plaguing me for weeks since I had COVID in January, and I think it's working. It's a temporary medication, so we'll have to see if they come back at some point, but right now I'm feeling good, and I really don't want to jinx myself by talking about that, but it has been significantly better for that. And hopefully without the headaches, and if a little bit of the stress wears off, wouldn't it be nice just to not have stress? A week without stress, what would that even look like? Anyway, I will be able to make a little bit more progress on Before Night Falls by Reinaldo, and then my plan is, once this is off my plate, I am going to pick up The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois in paperback because it is scheduled to come out on Tuesday. And I'm probably going to bounce between that and do just allow my slow reading experience of love songs to continue. And maybe on the side, I will pick up one of the e-galleys that I have access to and work my way through that. I have already downloaded the audio of Disoriental by Négar Djavadi, translated by Tina M. Kover. This was the other book for the April and May LGBTQ in translation read along. Before Night Falls is the official selection, and this was the other one. And I really wanted to read both. I actually sought out the audio of Before Night Falls because I was thinking that would be a great way to do it. It's not available on any subscription platform that I use or any app that I use, not even for purchase. I have not checked Audible before anybody comments. I don't use Audible because I want to avoid the Amazon of it. So it wouldn't even matter if it is available on that platform. I wouldn't want to get it from there. So I had been thinking about switching to audio, but it looks like I'm going to have to continue in print, which is fine. But I will be doing Disoriental on audio instead of the print book. So that's fine. And this will be my next audio. I am hoping to get started on it today. And then I am looking at some options for what I'm going to listen to on audio after I do Disoriental. I definitely want to do a book in May that's going to fit AAPI Heritage Month, Asian American or Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I have some options that I have saved in my script account. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do one of those or if I'm going to seek out something else. But I think once I'm done with Disoriental, I'm going to try to do something that would honor that. And then I am going to spend the rest of the month focusing on getting myself set up for Pride Month, because in June, if you follow along, you know, I really focus exclusively on LGBTQ books. So there are a couple of non-LGBTQ books that I'm hoping I will have out of the way before June, and we'll see how that goes. I talked more about that in my April wrap-up and my May plans video, which I will also put in the description box down below if you would like to check it out. And I think that's everything for this week, for this Friday Reads at least. I'm really looking forward to the Pulitzer Prize announcement. And again, I am hoping that I will be able to film a reaction immediately and get it posted the same day. We'll see. It's going to be a busy day with work. My boss has been on the East Coast, and it's going to be his first day back in the office. He's based in California. So there's going to be a lot to catch up on. So it will be interesting. I might not even be able to watch the announcement live, which would be devastating for me. But, you know, it's important to have a job, and that has to come first. So it will be what it will be. And I'll have that coming. Stay tuned for it. I have some other ideas for videos I can do next week if I don't get around to the Great American Novel video. And we'll see how all of that goes. As always, I really appreciate your time, and I will be back. Until next time, happy reading.